Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time of day we may be reaching you. Thank you for joining us once again on the channel. Now, we'd like to say a very big welcome to you. If you're joining us for the first time, please do well to like, share, and subscribe to our post. Now, to all of our existing subscribers, we'd like to say thank you so much for your support and your cooperation. And please don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our posts as they come your way. Thank you, and God bless you. Now, on today's report, former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan has called that the conflict between incumbent presidents and predecessors is actually not good for democracy. Now, President Jonathan actually said this at a strategy meeting of the West African Elders Forum in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. Well, let's get into the details of the report in full and let's see what President Goodluck Jonathan has to say. Now, the former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan has called for the effective collaboration among serving and past leaders in West Africa to address the issues affecting the peaceful transfer of power in the region. In a statement, Welt Ominabo, the communications officer of the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, GJF, said that the former president spoke on Wednesday at a strategy meeting of the West African Elders Forum, WAF, in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. Jonathan noted that the friction between incumbent presidents and their predecessors is not in the best interest of democracy. One gray area we have to look into is the observed antagonism between past leaders and serving leaders in some countries of the sub-region. This does not encourage the healthy practice of democracy, he said. Also, in some of our countries, the democratic space appears to be shrinking. There is the need to figure out how to navigate through such challenge to grow democracy in West Africa and the rest of Africa. Jonathan further said that the focus of the forum is preventive diplomacy and to see how best to engage with stakeholders in West Africa ahead of the forthcoming elections in some countries. As a forum, we believe so much in preventive diplomacy. One of our objectives is to ensure that we show up the democratic gains of our region by meaningfully engaging different stakeholders in a pragmatic and responsible manner, the former president said. Meetings like this serve as an opportunity to review the gains, challenges, and threats to peace and democracy in our sub-region and help us to strategize on how to mediate so that threats do not degenerate into conflicts. As Democrats, we believe elections are the cornerstone of democracy, and the activities surrounding the process could either make or mar the developmental aspirations of a nation. Election affords citizens the opportunity to have a say in their nation and gives them the opportunity to participate in the leadership recruitment process of their country. From recent events in Africa, we can draw a lesson on the relationship between peaceful elections, democratic sustenance, and national stability. This is why every process leading to the election is very important to the outcome of the poll. In our sub-region, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Liberia have scheduled general elections next year. And as we know, elections could serve as a major trigger for violence and instability in our continent. This is why it is important that we closely monitor the electioneering processes in these countries and watch out for signs that may precipitate crisis. As elders, it is our responsibility to identify threats to the transition programs in our sub-region and seek ways of proactively engaging relevant stakeholders towards resolving such challenges. Jonathan also called on those in government to redouble their efforts and commitment to democracy by ensuring that democracy translates to better welfare for the people. Well, that is it on the details of today's report, and we can see that former President Goodluck Jonathan is actually calling for peaceful conflict resolutions between past leaders and even incumbent presidents, and he is saying that lingering conflict or lingering crisis between past leaders and present leaders in West Africa is actually one of the issues that is affecting the peaceful transfer of power in the region. And like he says, it says one gray area that has to actually be looked into is the antagonism between past leaders and serving leaders. And according to Goodluck Jonathan, he believes that this doesn't actually encourage the healthy practice of democracy. And we can see that Jonathan also said that one of the objectives of his foundation is actually to ensure that they show up on the democratic gains of our region by engaging different stakeholders in a pragmatic and responsible manner. And like he also said, various countries in the West Africa have actually put in their general elections for next year, and that past and present leaders have to help so that we can actually have a smooth transfer of power. And like he said, from the recent event, we can draw the lesson that on the relationship between peaceful elections, and that every approach and every step of the way that leads to the elections is actually very important. And we can see that Goodluck Jonathan is also calling on various nations to actually look into their electioneering process in a way that they can actually have a peaceful and credible elections, and one that is without violence and that is free and fair. And he's also calling on the government of the various countries in the West Africa to double their efforts and their commitments into making a better life and better welfare for the people of the various nations. Well, that's it on the details of today's report. Until we come your way next time with more news happenings around the country, do well to stay safe. Bye bye.